From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. On the top story, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. administers the oath-taking of the newly elected officers of the Liga ng mga Barangay or LNB and Sangguniang Kabataan or SK National and Island representatives in a ceremony at the Heroes Hall in Malacañang Palace. Section 491 of Republic Act or RA number 7160 or the Local Government Code of 1991 defines the Liga ng mga Barangay as an organization of all barangays, the smallest political and administrative unit in the Philippines, for the primary purpose of determining the representation of the Liga in the Sanggunians and for ventilating, articulating, and crystallizing issues affecting barangay government administration and securing through proper and legal means solutions thereto. Among the functions and duties of the Liga include giving priority programs designed for the total development of the barangays and in consonance with the policies, programs, and projects of the national government, assisting in the education of barangay residents for people's participation in local government administration in order to promote united and concerted action to achieve countrywide development goals, and supplementing the efforts of government in creating gainful employment within the barangay, among many others. Also under the Local Government Code of 1991, the SK alongside the Katipunan ng Kabataan or KK were created to provide opportunity for young people to directly participate in local governance. In 2015, RA number 10742 of the Sangguniang Kabataan Reform Act of 2015 was enacted to establish an adequate, effective, responsive, and enabling mechanisms and support systems that will ensure the meaningful participation of the youth in local governance and nation building. Let us listen to Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
To all the distinguished guests here, and of course, most importantly, our newly appointed and elected officials of the Liga ng Barangay and the SK officials, all my fellow workers in government, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Palace, Malacañang Palace. I extend my congratulations to all of you, to the newly elected Liga ng Barangay sa Pilipinas officers and the SK National and Island representatives. I am very excited to be able to welcome you here into the Palace because without a doubt, public service begins with you at the barangay. You are the first responders in times of emergency. You are at the forefront of our efforts in building a strong, prosperous, and united society. Kabilang kayo ng muka ng bagong Pilipinas. Kaya naman ay inaasahan namin ang inyong pangunguna sa pagbabago upang mapaigting ang dekalidad na serbisyo publiko. I have always said, and this is born of my experience in my time in local government, and that it is all very well for the national government. Dito kami, tinatrabaho namin, marami kaming ginagawa para pagandahin ang buhay ng ating mga mamamayan. At kahit na napakaganda at napakagaling at napakahusay ng aming pinaplano, ang aming ginagawa, kapag hindi kami tinutulungan hanggang sa barangay level, ay wala ring mangyayari. Hindi pa rin mararamdaman ng taong bayan. Kaya talagang wag niyong iisipin na dahil sinasabi, mataas yung governor, mataas yung mayor, tapos kami, barangay lang kami, SK lang kami. Huwag niyong iisipin yun. Dahil napakahalaga ng inyong trabaho. Napakahalaga ang ginagampanan ninyo na katungkulan para sa ating pagpaganda ng Pilipinas. So, one of the, I always say that my time as governor, my time as in the local government, was the time that I learned what happens at the ground level, how things work at the ground level. And I learned very, very quickly that the barangay officials and all of the other, ang mga volunteer natin, yung mga BHW, yung ating mga yung mga ating daycare center na volunteer, lahat sila ay napakahalaga. At yun na nga, kapag may sabihin na lang natin, hindi natin na ipaliwanag na mabuti sa ating mga barangay officials na ito yung ating pinaplano, ito ang gagawin ng national government, ito ang kailangan namin sa local government, ito yung kailangan namin sa mga barangay. Pagka hindi namin na ipaliwanag na mabuti yan, hindi talaga bababa. Kahit napakaganda, kahit napakahusay, kahit napakatama ang aming ginagawa, hindi talaga aabot sa baba. Kaya kailangan yung laging nasa isip ninyo na kung hindi maganda ang ating pagdala ng serbisyo sa taong bayan at the local level, wala nang kabuluhan yun. Hindi talaga mararamdaman. And that's why this is such an important part of the way that we plan our economic policies, our political policies, all of these. And that is why we are trying to make sure that the voice of the local governments, not only at the provincial level, not only at the municipal and city level, but hanggang sa barangay level, hanggang nga sa volunteers, dapat kailangan pakinggan. And that's why umaasa kami sa inyo na nandiyan kayo, na tumutulong talaga sa amin, tumutulong para pagandahin, ngunit nakikinig naman kami, nakikinig naman ang national government sa inyo. At kailangan namin malaman kung ano ba talaga ang naging sitwasyon doon sa lugar ninyo. Wala nang mas eksperto sa bawat komunidad kung hindi ang leader ng komunidad na yun. Lagi kong pinagmamayabang ko nung gobernador ko. Wala nang mas nakakaalam sa Ilocos Norte kundi ako. Nobody knows more about my province than me because I'm the governor. And that translates to the local government, to the barangay officials. Nobody knows more about your barangay than you. That is why it is important that we listen to you. And we do. We will listen to you. And you tell us. Because ang lagi kong sinasabi, nung pumasok ako sa national politics, naging senador ako, lagi kong sinasabi sa mga kapwa-senador ko, makinig kayo sa mga lokal. Dahil ang dala nila, hindi naman problema lamang. Ang dala nila, may solusyon din yan eh. Tayo, nandito tayo sa Maynila, nagdidebate tayo, hindi natin alam talaga kung ano yung sitwasyon doon. Makinig ka doon. Pero hindi rin natin alam na solusyonan yan. Dahil hindi natin alam yung mga detalye doon sa kondisyon ng bawat lugar. Kaya't kailangan pakinggan natin sila. O sige, siyempre yung iba, But yung lahat naman yung talagang sincere na local government officials talagang naghahanap ng solusyon. Hindi naman araw-araw nilang kaharap ang tao paano everyday nagrereklamo, boss, bakit naman ganito? Ba't di pa ninyo naayos ito? Kaya it's in your I know it's in the interest of local government officials. Dahil ang difference ng national officials sa local government, kami kaharap namin politiko. Kayo kaharap ninyo taong bayan. That's why that connection has to be brought all the way up to the national government. And that is why I hold in such importance the inputs that you give us. The SK, for example. We are probably the youngest workforce in Asia now, ang Pilipinas. Dahil ang average age ng ating mga manggagawa ay mga 25, 26. Yung iba, matatanda na. Kaya napakahalaga na yung mga kabataan ay maisama natin. I have been in the youth movement for most of my political life, and even before my political life. And it is very clear that government, for example, needs to be revitalized, needs to have new blood, needs to have new ideas, needs to have that determination and that energy that maybe the the very high ups have lose sight of. Napakaganda makita na mga kabataan talagang hindi nila tinitigilan ang kanilang paniniwala na ipinaglalaban. I remember nandito ni mga ibang KB. Ang KB dati yung Kabataan Barangay. Simple lang yung slogan ng Kabataan Barangay. Makialam, makialam, makialam. Tama yun. Dapat ganun pa rin ang gagawin ng kabataan. Kung meron kayong nakikitang mas magandang pamamaraan, sabihin ninyo, isigaw ninyo. Wala, yung mga matatanda hindi makikinig sa inyo, pero pilitin ninyo. Hindi naman, lahat naman, pagka may pangyayari na ganyan, sasabihin, kung maganda ang naging resulta, anong masama doon? Kung hindi matagumpay, hindi magandang lumabas, hindi bale. Sige, next. Subukan natin ibang bagay. Subukan natin ibang sistema. But you have to be there. We need your energy. We need your new blood. Tignan mo na natin. For example, sa pamumuhay natin ngayon, naging napakahalaga ang teknolohiya. Ngayon, sasabihin natin, siyempre tayo, pinag-aaralan namin yan. In my generation, we study. But in my generation, hindi importante ang teknolohiya. Nagugulat kami, makita yung 6 years old, humawak ng kahit na Game Boy o computer. Wala, parang walang baliwala. Tayo pinag-aaral, inisip, ito ba yung pipinutin ko ito? And that kind of intuitive and instinctive knowledge from the youth is what we need. And the future is going to be technologically driven. And that is why the natural instinct of younger people when it comes to technology is important. It has to be part of all our thinking. It has to be part of all our planning. So, kaya nabanggit ko lahat yan ay dahil nais ko lang naman talagang ipaalam sa inyo na dahil nga sa aking karanasan bilang local government official, ay asahan po ninyo na lahat ng inyong mga iniisip, lahat ng inyong mga suggestion, lahat ng inyong sinasabi sa amin, ay pinapakinggan namin yan. Ngayon, hindi sasabihin na basta sinabi nyo, gagawin namin. Pero siyempre, that will be part. It will be part. The input that you give us will be part of our planning, will be part of how we move forward. Because dito sa area na ito, maraming lumapit sa akin na ganito, so alam ko na. Dito sa area naman to na iba. Alam ko na. So paano natin paplanuhin na mabuti yan? And so I just want to remind you of the extremely important place that the local governments at the barangay level play in this government's decision-making, in this government's planning, in this government's hope for the future of our country. Because, and then let's turn back to the SK. What we are doing here, itong mga nakikita niyo na leader sa national, hindi na namin ginagawa para sa amin ito, para na sa mga kabataan yan. So, we have to hear from the young people. We have to hear from the ordinary citizens. What is the future that you want? What is the future that you feel we can achieve? And how do you suggest that we do it? These questions are very, very important. And these are questions that we ask of the local government. And I promise you, we will listen to those answers. Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is set to issue an executive order or EO to calibrate the current tariff rates until 2028 as the government moves to ensure access and affordability of rice and other essential commodities. In a palace press briefing Tuesday, Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Arsenio Balisacan said the President, as chair of the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA board, approved the new comprehensive tariff program for 2024 to 2028 covering various agricultural and industrial products. Among the products that will get a major reduction is rice, which will have reduced tariff of 15% duty rate for both in-quota and out-quota rates from the previous 35% until 2028. The board also agreed to merge tariff lines on certain chemicals and chemical products, textiles, machinery, and transport equipment to simplify the tariff structure for more efficient customs administration and improve the ease of doing business.
The board, under the leadership of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., approved the new comprehensive tariff program for 2024 to 2028. This program calibrates the current tariff rates until 2028, a strategic move to ensure access and affordability to essential commodities while balancing the interests of consumers and local producers, which is crucial for fostering rapid, sustained, and inclusive economic growth. During its 17th meeting, the NEDA board acted on the recommendations of the Committee on Tariff and Related Matters, or CTRM, to maintain the current rates on more than half of the tariff lines covering various agricultural and industrial products that have relatively low applied tariffs, particularly for raw materials and intermediate inputs used in manufacturing. The tariff maintenance will ensure access to inputs and support efforts to improve productivity and competitiveness. This measure will help our domestic industries by reducing the cost they incur for their inputs, enabling them to be more competitive, especially in the global market. The board also agreed to merge tariff lines on certain chemical and chemical products, textiles, machinery, and transport equipment to simplify the tariff structure for more efficient customs administration and improve the ease of doing business. The board also approved the CTRM's recommendation to reduce the tariff on certain chemicals and coal briquettes to improve energy security and reduce input cost. Tariff reduction on coal will help ensure its availability at reasonable prices, thus supporting more stable electricity prices and supply in the country. Given our present energy constraints, this reduction will be timely as we steadily work toward implementing planned investment in transmission facilities and renewable energy infrastructure in the coming years. Meanwhile, the chemicals proposed for reduction are inputs to manufacture antiseptics, detergents, and medical desserts. Reducing the tariff on these inputs will help lower production costs and improve consumer welfare. The reduced tariff rates on corn, pork, and mechanically deboned meat under Executive Order Number 50, Series of 2023, were also maintained until 2028 to ensure stable supply of these commodities, help manage inflation, promote policy stability and investment planning, and enhance food security. For rice, one of the most critical components of Filipino households' consumption basket, the NEDA board agrees to reduce the duty rate to 15% for both in-quota and out-quota rates from 35% until 2028. This decision aims to lower the price of rice further and make it more affordable. Based on the latest inflation reports of the Philippine Statistics Authority in the past 3 months, rice contributed about 2 percentage points, or over 50%, to the headline inflation. Reducing rice tariffs is expected to bring down rice prices for consumers, while also supporting domestic production through tariff cover and increased budgetary support to improve agricultural productivity, especially as global rice prices remain elevated. Upward price pressure for rice are driven by the effects of the El Niño phenomenon that are felt worldwide, as well as increasing demand given our steadily growing population and economy. We note that even at the reduced rate of 15%, the rice sector continues to enjoy comparatively high tariff protection from competitive imports, as the tariff is higher than for the 80 to 90% of the total 11,484 tariff lines under the ASEAN Harmonized Tariff Nomenclature 2022. Moreover, the NADA board has retained the tariff cover for various other agricultural products. This includes sugar, vegetables such as onion, shallots, garlic, broccoli, carrots, cabbage, lettuce, sweet potatoes, cassava, coffee substitutes, complete feeds, and feed preparations. We also note that extensive consultations and review by the Tariff Commission, in line with the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act, informed the recommendations of the Committee on Tariff and Related Matters to the NEDA Board. The comprehensive tariff review is conducted every 5 years. This new multi-year tariff schedule aims to help our economy achieve and balance several critical policy objectives. The multi-year horizon seeks to promote transparency, predictability, and policy stability. It will enable our domestic industries to undertake medium to long-term planning to enhance productivity and competitiveness, facilitate trade, and contribute to favorable outcomes in international trade agreements while ensuring consumer welfare and protection, especially in the near term as we still confront upside risk to inflation. The President will issue an executive order to implement this new tariff program.
Socio-Economic Planning, Secretary Arsenio Balisacan.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday appointed singer Imelda Papin as acting member of the Board of Directors or BOD of the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office or PCSO. The President administered Papin's oath himself at the study room in Malacañang. Known in the local showbiz scene as the Jukebox Queen, Papin rose to fame in the 1970s and has a long history in politics outside her decades-long music career. She served as Vice Governor of Camarines Sur from 1998 to 2004 and from 2019 to 2022. Papin sought congressional seats representing districts in Bulacan and Camarines Sur provinces but was unsuccessful. She also ran for senator in 2020 but was also unsuccessful. The PCSO is a government-owned and controlled corporation or GOCC under the Office of the President or OP. Among its mandates is to help the public through medical service and charity from programs and games.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday presided over a sectoral meeting on preventing and combating online sexual abuse or exploitation of children or OSAEC and Child Sexual Abuse or Exploitation Materials or CSAEM in the Philippines at the Kalayaan Hall in Malacañang Palace. During the meeting, the National Coordinator Center, or rather, the National Coordination Center or NCC presented a comprehensive strategy aimed at strengthening the criminal justice system through several key pillars. The NCC emphasized the importance of enhancing referral pathways and mechanisms by revising and establishing policies to coordinate efforts across schools and local government units or LGUs, thereby addressing and eradicating OSAEC and CSAEM more effectively. Another key pillar involves creating a centralized repository for OSAEC-related reports and information. This repository will compile data from local and international organizations, facilitating a more cohesive approach to tracking and responding to OSAEC incidents. The NCC also plans to partner with the business and media, including broadcast stations, to strengthen anti-OSAEC campaigns and raise awareness through dedicated media segments. To ensure comprehensive care for child victims, a dedicated office within the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD will provide ongoing support to help them heal and reintegrate into society. The Chief Executive reiterated the importance of rescuing the child victims, emphasizing the urgency of prioritizing the safety and well-being of young individuals above all else.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos on Tuesday welcomed United Arab Emirates or UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan in Malacañang Palace. The president thanked Sheikh Abdullah for finding the time to visit the Philippines. President Marcos emphasized the good relationship between the UAE and the Philippines and hopes the very close relationship to continue in the future. The chief executive also thanked Sheikh Abdullah for all the assistance UAE has given to Filipino nationals working in the Emirates and hopes to return the favor even just a little. For his part, Sheikh Abdullah also thanked the Philippines for its support to the UAE. He believes that the relationship between the two nations is growing but could do much better as both countries have shown interest to further enhance it.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. appointed Maria Ana Catrina Pimentel, wife of Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel III, as special envoy to the United Arab Emirates or UAE for trade and investment. President Marcos administered Mrs. Pimentel's oath of office on Tuesday in Malacañang, accompanied by her husband and other family members. After taking her oath, the new special envoy immediately reported for duty, joining the President and First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos in welcoming UAE Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. In a press statement, Mrs. Pimentel said she is profoundly honored by the trust and confidence of the President. Pimentel has been active in various international forums on investment and economic cooperation hosted by the UAE, including the World Government Summit in February 2024, United Nations Climate Change Conference in December 2023, and Dubai Air Show and Dubai Watch Week in November 2023.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Department of National Defense or DND Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. and Dutch Defense Minister Kaza Ollongren have vowed to further step up their bilateral defense and security relations, notably in the areas of combating cybercrime and espionage. In a meeting on the sidelines of the 21st International Institute for Strategic Studies or IISS Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore, the two defense officials pledged to deepen cooperation as numerous issues and concerns emerge globally. Ollongren said the Dutch government can relate to the security concerns of the Philippine government. The Dutch defense minister said, The Netherlands looks forward to engage with the Philippines in combating cybercrime and espionage issues. The two defense officials were in Singapore to attend the annual Shangri-La Dialogue, considered as Asia's most significant defense gathering.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday assured the public of continued government action following Mount Canlaon's eruption. In a video message posted on social media, President Marcos said the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, and the Department of Social Welfare and Development are on top of the situation, immediately providing assistance to affected residents of Negros Island. PHIVOLCS said Alert Level 2 remains ensure the safety of residents. President Marcos said around 170 families, or nearly 800 individuals, have been evacuated as of the latest data. The president said sleeping kits have been deployed to La Castellana, the town at the base of Mount Canlaon. Some 13,000 family food packs are prepositioned in Negros Island, and an additional 40,000 food packs and non-food items are on their way to affected areas. The chief executive concluded his message by calling on residents, especially those who are close to the affected area, to remain vigilant, refrain from staying at the 4-kilometer radius permanent danger zone, and follow the guidelines and the reminders set by authorities. Mount Canlaon, an active volcano in Negros Island, erupted for 6 minutes Monday night, producing a 5,000-meter plume.
Mga kababayan, kasulukuyang nakakaranas ng pag-aalboroto ang Canlaon Volcano sa Negros. Itinaas na natin ang Alert Level 2 upang masiguro ang kaligtasan ng lahat. Sa kasalukuyan, may 170 pamilya o 796 na katao ang naapektuhan. Agad naman natin sila inilikas sa mga evacuation center. Patuloy ang ating mga ahensya tulad ng PhilVox, NDRMC at ang DSWD sa kanilang masusing pagsusubaybay at pagbibigay ng suporta. Namigay na tayo ng mga sleeping kits sa La Castellana at may 13,000 family food packs na ang nakapreposition sa Negros Island at may karagdagang 40,000 food packs at iba pang non-food items na paparating. Naka-standby din ang ating mga air asset para sa mas mabilis na pagresponde. Tinitiyak ko na ang ating pamahalaan ay handa at patuloy na nagbibigay ng suporta hanggang makabalik ng ligtas ang lahat sa kanilang mga tahanan. Ako rin ay nananawagan sa lahat, lalo na sa mga nakatira malapit sa lugar, na maging mapagmatsyag at iwasan ang 4-kilometer radius permanent danger zone. Mangyaring sumunod sa mga payo at tagubilin mula sa mga lokal na otoridad. Maraming salamat at ingat po tayong lahat.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, Secretary Rex Gatchalian on Tuesday assured the agency has sufficient family food packs, or FFPs, in regions affected by the volcanic activity of Mount Canlaon in Negros Island. Gatchalian said President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. directed the DSWD to stay on top of the situation and ensure no family will be left behind. He added there are 10,000 more FFPs to be sent to the Bacolod City area. He said he is in constant communication with the heads of the affected local government units to personally know the situation and prepare for the worst if volcanic activities continue. He noted that the DSWD is ready to provide other forms of assistance in addition to the FFPs to help the affected residents cope with the possible disruptions in their livelihood. Meanwhile, Tonizon Luther Lee, DSWD Central Visayas Assistant Director for Administration, said that about 40,000 FFPs were in transit since Monday night, bound for Negros Island. He said the SWD also deployed a mobile command center to Negros Oriental to provide state-of-the-art satellite internet, large power banks, and 2 sets of generators to help communities near the volcano.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, will help overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, whose flights at the Bacolod Silay International Airport were canceled due to the eruption of Mount Canlaon. This after the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or CAAP, ordered the cancellation of all Tuesday morning flights from the Bacolod Silay Airport due to the phreatic eruption of the volcano. In relation to this, Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak directed the DMW Regional Office in Region 6 and its attached agencies, as well as the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, to provide assistance to the affected OFWs. Meanwhile, the COAP advised the public that the flights will continue once activity from the volcano has settled down.
Dateline Malacañang.
A mobile application providing comprehensive assistance and information to overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, globally will be launched in July. OFW Party List Representative Marisa Magsino said the OFW app will synergize the digitization efforts of the government agencies and provide access to welfare assistance, various benefits, and a crucial emergency button that connects directly to the Overseas Workers and Welfare Administration, or OWA. Magsino, Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT Secretary Ivan John Uy, and OWA Administrator Arnel Ignacio signed the Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, on the OFW app at the OFW Tulong at Servicio Center at Ayala Malls, Manila Bay in Parañaque City. Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak, and DICT Undersecretary for E-Government David Almirol were also present during the signing to express support for the initiative. Magsino said the evolving features will later include services of government agencies with frequent transactions with OFWs, with the DMW signifying its intent to link vital services to the OFW app. The simulation of the app will commence through the participation of select OFWs all over the world for their feedback. The app will be formally launched after fine-tuning of the interface and its services through consultation with end users.
Dateline Malacañang.
Finally, for Dateline Malacañang, the Maritime Industry Authority, or Marina, will soon roll out full online services for seafarers and other maritime stakeholders to streamline processes and applications. During the Kapihan sa Bagong Pilipinas media briefing, Marina National Capital Region Director Mark Anthony Pascua said the rollout is part of their blockchain-enabled automatic certification system, or BEST, and is in line with the Marcos administration's digitalization of government transactions. Using the QR codes, he said partner agencies in the maritime sector, such as the Philippine Coast Guard, would easily check the authenticity of documents. BEST is a blockchain-enabled web application that aims to improve the agency's online services and allow for contactless transactions. The system is expected to allow real-time processing and updating of all applications that is accessible through the web, both for mobile and computers. It will allow Marina clients to pay online, track and update their transactions and offer notifications for certificate expiration. Marina conducted BEST training for each regional office from January to May this year. To date, the agency uses other online systems such as the Marina Integrated Seafarers Management Online System for the issuance, revalidation, and replacement of Certificate of Competency for seafarers. Marina Ilocos Region Director Engineer Jadini Nur Sibal buried the same plan during a similar forum held at the Philippine Information Agency in San Fernando City, La Union. He said they are also conducting mobile registration, documentation, and licensing for recreational vessels, fishing vessels, and cargo vessels in far-flung areas. Marina will likewise provide training for seafarer certification and licensing requirements.
Dateline Malacañang.
And And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.